Hey there, friends. I'm Heidi, creator of Heavenly Minded Home, and I love sharing about all the homey things, all the ways in which we build up our homes, and everything from homeschooling to homesteading, and just the life that God gives us each and every day. And for our family, of course, things have just been topsy-turvy. I mean, we were hit by Hurricane Helene here in Western North Carolina. We've been sharing updates about everything. The process to try to get everything put back together is one that, as things are starting to come together here a couple weeks later, it's just quite overwhelming when you look at having to just clear out, restart, rummage, and piece it all together. There's something very important that I wanted to share about today that was instrumental to me and my family throughout our aftermath of going through Hurricane Helene, the time of no power, no water, just off-grid living at its stark contrast of life. But the biggest thing that really made such an impact to our family, and that was genuinely keeping the morale. So whether you are like us and you're dealing with the aftermath of Helene, you're down in Florida dealing with the hurricanes coming through, or whatever hurricane and storm of life it is that you might be facing now or whenever you might see this, I want to share with you what I've been doing to keep my morale boosted and my focus, and I hope that it can be a blessing for you in whatever season of life you currently find yourself. I've been sharing in different videos about kind of just what happened for our family here in Western North Carolina when Helene hit, the aftermath of it, the damage, the time we've been going through, power was down, water was down, internet is still off and on, right? Kind of just the community reeling from such devastation that is so uncharacteristic for anything that anywhere in this region has ever seen or had to deal with. And something that, really I think was interesting in the moment as you're going through it and you're trying to figure out what needs to be prioritized. How do we live without power, without water, without, road access, without stores having anything, gas shortages. We have so many shortages going on right now, so much that was destroyed, so much that needs to be replaced. You're trying to figure out all of these pieces. And for me, I'm a mom of 4. We work from home, we homeschool, we homestead, we're ministry full-time. I live by my routines. And whenever we've dealt with sickness, surgery, new babies, busy seasons of life, whatever might be going on, it's really those routines and rhythms that make such a difference in our home and in our lives. And I think sometimes, well, I shared in yesterday's video about kind of how we as a family pulled together. Our friends just moved here. They live on our property. There's 14 of us in total. We're like our own little commune here. And it is, really cozy. We've made our own kind of community and neighborhood here on our 8 acres. But kind of looking at my day and understanding the value and importance of my morale in this. Now, as we were going through Helene, all communications were completely cut off. The things you're getting were so spotty. We're starting to kind of reel in here in that first week after the storm. We were starting to really get an understanding of just how big this was, just how many this impacted. That kind of panic and worry of trying to reach out and friends and loved ones and, are you okay? Is everything fine? The mountain pass up to my mom has been completely cut off. Luckily, she's okay, but we can't get to one another. You're kind of like trying to piece all of this together, and it's so overwhelming. And in all of that, in all of the destruction, hearing and seeing how many are missing, how many are gone, how many, just towns are literally leveled, in all of the chaos of it, it was one of those things where I really do believe that mom sets the tone of the home. And even if your kids are grown, even if maybe you're not quite there yet, I really believe that that is an impactful thing. And kind of looking at everything. My husband's trying to pull, extra time. He's trying to keep everything together. Our kids are concerned and worried. Nothing is going normal for us at all. Even now, it's like your whole life was just put into this like massive like tumble, cycle of a dryer. And now we're kind of like standing up and trying to figure out what's what and where to go from here. And it was one of those things where it was like, my morale needs to be there. I can't fix everything right now as much as I want to. Trust me, I am a go get 'em type person. I can't fix everything right now. I can't bring anybody back. I can't make a storm not happen. I can't make the power come on. I can't make the supplies exist. I can't make the trees not be down all over the place. There's so many things that I can't fix, but I can set the tone by my heart, by living out my faith. And so in those times for me, again, going back to the routines, I love a good routine. I love a good rhythm to our day. It makes all the difference. And that's the kind of normal stuff I talk about so often here on the channel. But I wanted to still have that in our day, even throughout this like forced off-grid, life topsy-turvy situation we've found ourselves in. And so for me, I would wake up in the morning and, everything's dark and it's like eerily quiet because there's, no electricity anywhere. There's no anything. And I would wake up and come out and it's so peaceful. And you just feel the Lord's calm over everything when the land is sitting so peacefully at rest. And I would come out and things that were my normal routine that I just didn't even think twice about now were such a process to be able to get, anything done we were going to get done that day. The fire in our burn barrel would need to be stoked. So if I'm the first one up, I got to come over here, start stirring it up, adding some more wood to it, got to get the fire going. We would make sure, I started doing this in the evening, we would make sure we kind of prepared. And so I'd make sure that there was already sanitized water so that I can make a cup of coffee. It's one of those things that it's so little, but it makes such a difference to say, you know what, we have a French press. My friend had a French press, able to boil some water. We had the coffee. I could at least sit down and have a hot cup of coffee in the morning. So I would kind of pull out my little camping stove. I would put some water on that I had prepared the night before and at least get that boiling so that I could use the French press and make a cup of coffee. I still wanted to feel like I had put myself together. I am one of those people that every morning I get up, I brush my teeth, I get dressed, put on some makeup, I make my bed, and I'm ready to go. I do all of that first thing in the morning. And so I said, well, I can still do that. I came out and there were buckets of creek water and I could rinse off my face. I could, get some water in a cup and brush my teeth. I could, still put on my skincare that just makes me feel, again, it's a little thing that I understand isn't going to save the world. I understand it's not going to fix anything or make anything work or make anything better. But by taking a few minutes to do things like wash my face and put on my skincare, throw a little bit of makeup on and feel put together and ready, it was an external action, but internally it made such a difference because I felt like I had gotten up, I had gotten myself ready, and whatever I was going to have to face that day, at least I felt ready to tackle it. I'm not saying I'm prepared. I mean, I don't even know. I mean, I get some of these comments and like, well, you should always be prepared for anything. How does one prepare always for anything? I mean, that's like, I don't even know how one does that. We had many preparations. They just weren't the preparations for this like once in a lifetime, just insane, something like our part of the country has never ever seen in the world, ever. So it was one of those where it's like, I know I can't fix all of that. I can't do all of the things, but I could get up, I can brush my teeth, wash my face, feel a little put together, pull an outfit out. You know what I mean? Like I could still take a couple moments to feel a little put together. I could make a cup of coffee, sit out here by the burn barrel, drinking a cup of coffee before the day was going to get started. And we were going to be doing backbreaking physical work all day, just trying to keep the things in order. I did. And my husband, he chuckled because I use this rocket fuel stuff on my nails to help them grow strong and healthy. And I love it. I've used it for a long time now, and I absolutely love it. I love taking care of my nails. My husband really appreciates it. It makes me feel very feminine and put together and just kind of polished and cleaned up. And so I sat down, I put a coat of, rocket fuel on my nails. I would go down to the creek, and we went down a couple times, and one time I washed my hair just in a bucket of water. My hair you start feeling so gross and so grungy, and you can't bathe, you can't even wash normally. I mean, you've got wipes and different things, but it gets to you after a while. And I think that sometimes that happens in life, where these things they keep happening, whatever struggles you might be having and things that you're facing. Maybe it's, maybe it's just health stuff. Maybe it's relationship stuff. Maybe it's new kiddos, whatever it might be. Sometimes that just happens and you get worn down. And it was kind of one of those things where one day I was like, I'm so sick of just feeling so everything just felt off. I'm going to dunk my head in a bucket and I'm going to wash my hair. I'm at least going to feel nice and fresh with clean hair and, a clean face, because at least I can do that. I went down, the kids and I, we have our creek on the property, and we went down, and the girls and I put on our swimsuits, and we went down and we all bathed, and I shaved my legs and my armpits and I did all the things, because I was like, this feels so good to just finally feel at least clean, to at least do something somewhat normal that makes you feel at least like you can keep looking at that glass as half full. And I think that was kind of the point of it, where yes, I kind of started to see ways in the morning that I really loved this little off-grid routine I was having, where making coffee was now this much longer process, because I had to make sure water was boiled, I had to have it prepped and ready, I had to start the camping stove, I had to do the French press. Even rinsing out the French press was like a whole process to get it done. When you don't have access to water, you don't have access to electricity, there's all these things that you have to do so much differently. But it was really quite beautiful to have, again, this slower pace, like I talked about in yesterday's video. And if you haven't watched it already, I'll be sure to link all of those at the end. But being able to see that in where, yes, there was like the reality of how to get through a storm, how to get through a natural disaster that causes you to be off grid and to do all of these different things. But then there was the lessons learned from that of, wow, Lord, I feel like I try to be very intentional with my time. I feel like we already live drastically different than most of the world, right? We've already kind of taken these steps in this direction, but now going even that mile further, seeing what happens when we slow down, when we take it in. Coffee was this slow process. My getting ready, again, is very, very simple. It's nothing, fancy and super frou-frou or anything like that, but still taking a few moments to gather the water, the supplies, the things, and to feel put together, to be intentional with my time, and to sit down and take the quiet and the stillness to spend some time reading. As kiddos would start waking up, our friends would wake up, and everybody would kind of come up into the main areas, whether we were sitting in the house when it was raining or sitting outside by the burn barrel, and just having some time of gathering together where nobody was rushing. There's nothing to go do. My whole job is on the internet. There's no job to do when there is no internet. Everybody here on the property with physical jobs, all of their businesses were literally underwater. No one's rushing to go anywhere. But there was something so beautiful learned in that time of, wow, we all rush so much. There's so much to get done, so much to deal with, so much to do. And just taking that time to kind of come to that complete stop of, there is no rushing because there's nowhere to go. There's missions and activity because we've got to keep firewood coming in. We got to purify water. We have to gather food. You're doing all of those things. And sure, there's that. But being able to take a few moments to get myself ready, to be able to sit down, to have my time in prayer, have my time in the Word, have my time in just quiet peace, and say, okay, Lord, you gave me today, and that's a blessing. Thank you for today. I understand not everybody gets that. Lord, we don't know what we have in front of us today. It looks like a lot. It feels like a lot. And there's a lot of uncertainty and a lot that I could get caught up in. I could get caught up in the fact that so much money is going to be needed to replace things that we can't afford, that so many around us need so much help. I don't even know how we could pull together that help, that all these goals and things that we were working towards have now been completely thrown off the table because that's just so far now out of the stretch of reality. But God, you gave us today, and we have one another, and we have the resources we have, and you promise to provide each day exactly what we need. And so, Lord, I am here. Nourish my soul, refresh me, and allow me to set the tone of my home and pour into my children, my husband, my neighbors, my family, whomever it is that you put in my path today, Lord. Allow me to pour into them in a way that says, guess what? Different seasons of life bring different things. Storms show up. Things happen. We get it. But God. And so, Lord, what do you have for us today? How can I move forward with a Christ-like attitude that impacts all those you put in my path? That regardless of the circumstances we're in, regardless of the storm we just quite literally survived, how can we give you glory? And how can we live out our faith and encourage anyone else? And when we start looking at the things we go through, I think in that way, be it natural disasters and absolute literal physical chaos, down to the mental things, the health things, the financial things, just the more normal things of life. I think there's so much to glean from that and go, okay, Lord, wow, you're right. When I make sure that I am focused on the rock, right? I am focused on the truth of the word of the Lord. And I'm able to replenish my morale, my focus. That really does allow me to take that deep breath in, prepare myself and move forward. Yes, me feeling better, and then me being well equipped to take that blessing and that peace, even in the uncertainty, even in the struggle, even in the everything else, and then go and start pouring it in to everyone around me. And so when I have little ones that are scared, when the rain starts up again and everybody's worried of what's going to happen, even for us now, we're having to replace everything. Everything's a mess. We're seeing more storms coming up and we're thinking, oh no, if we get anything else now, it's going to take next to nothing and it all starts coming together. The devastation, the lives lost, the friends we're going out into town and trying to gather supplies and everybody else and praying with others and going through all of that. It's so much. But God, replenish my soul, restore my morale. Show me what really matters and strengthen me that I can live out my faith and be utilized as a tool to serve others and bring glory to your name. And so being able to take, I know it sounds so silly now, and so silly when we go back to our normal lives of just having power and internet and water and all of the things, but washing my hair in a bucket of creek water, morale booster. Washing my face, brushing my teeth, game over. Big difference. Having a few simple supplies that I could make a cup of French press coffee, yes, please. Little things that we can do, whatever it is that you're facing. Say, Lord, let me take this to prayer. Let me focus myself on the truth of your word. Let me do these little things that might help me to be focused and intentional with where I need to be. Because none of us are promised tomorrow. None of us know what storms lie ahead, literally and figuratively. But we have today, and every day is a blessing. Each and every one is. And so if this can be an encouragement to you to, yes, see quite literally how I tried to glean some more morale and keep that focus while we were going through and are going through the midst of all our things. Again, I'm sitting out here, we're using an old bed to hang laundry. We've got, it's just chaos at the moment, and it will be for a long time. And again, I'm going to keep sharing it. If you want to help, you want to get involved, I have links down below of ways that you can. And for everybody who's donated, everybody who's praying, everybody who's watching these, sharing these, it makes such a difference to our family, yes, and to the community here as we're working in these things. But if this can be an encouragement to you, then praise God, it is all worth it. If it helps even one person, then you know it. We're going to be here and we're going to keep sharing. I love you all. I thank you all for your support. Go watch more, share them all, pass them on, check out the links down in the description. And you know it. We'll be right back here tomorrow, Lord willing. See you on the next one. Bye, friends.